Hi. Today I am going to explain about the another one important chapter, that is none other than gluconeogenesis pathway. So the gluconeogenesis pathway is one of the important pathway for the energy production. So normally we know that in previously we have discussed about the glycolysis. So glycolysis is a process to break down of glucose into pyruvate or lactate. So the glucose is the first raw material. It's being converted into the various intermediate steps. Finally, it's converted into the lactate or pyruvate. So we know that mechanism. For each and every cells, particularly the skeletal muscles or brain, it's need the glucose for energy resource. When that demand is not able to met, means that time it's undergone the gluconeogenesis process. Okay, that means when you are starving condition, when the glucose is not sufficient for supply the energy, otherwise not available to produce the energy, means our body is going to synthesize the glucose molecule from non-carbohydrate material. In our regular food, we have to take carbohydrates, and apart from that, we have to take proteins and cholesterol substances. So normally that carbohydrate material has been break down into small molecules. That's a monosaccharide glucose. That glucose has been utilized for the energy resource. So when you don't have to take the food, that time your body need glucose for at least to carry out the basal workout. Even we are not doing any work, our brain is continuously working, heart is going to continuously working. So for those purposes need energy. For that purpose the glucose is mandatory. So that case the glucose has been synthesized from non-carbohydrate material, means that's a pathway, it's called as gluconeogenesis. Simply we can say the gluconeogenesis pathway is synthesize the glucose material from non-carbohydrate substances. The next one is location of gluconeogenesis, where it's going to synthesize. One of the major organs responsible for gluconeogenesis synthesis is liver. Because the liver is having a vital enzymes, that's a responsible place is going to synthesize the glucose. Approximately the liver itself around 1 kg of glucose has been synthesized per day. In mitochondria is carry out some of the intermediate steps, but most of the gluconeogenesis process is going to carry out on cytosolic stage. So that is important place for the gluconeogenesis synthesis. Now we can see the exact gluconeogenesis pathway. You can see here the basic material is either pyruvate or lactate or propionate or glycerol. So these are the intermediate product for various pathways. So these are the non-carbohydrate materials has been converted into glucose. You can see here first it's mentioned as a pyruvate. I have taken as an example, it's a pyruvate. So the first material is pyruvate, that is enter into the cycle, then finally it's converted into the glucose. Intermediately is going to various steps. Once you can see this this intermediate pathway, it somewhat close resemble with some other cycle. Can you guess it? What is the cycle? Yes, the cycle is close resemble with glycolysis. So for that you must compare with glycolysis cycles. You can see this picture. If the reactions, if you have seen top to bottom, means that is glycolysis cycle. The starting material is glucose, it's converted into the pyruvate, that is glycolysis cycle. But in gluconeogenesis, the entire cycle is going to reverse. So for that process, you have seen from bottom to top. So in bottom, pyruvate has been converted into various intermediate steps, then finally it's converted into the glucose molecule. So we know that in glycolysis, 3 steps are irreversible steps. That means the reaction is never going to backwards. That means the first step is glucose to glucose 6-phosphate conversion. The second one is fructose 6-phosphate to fructose 1,6-phosphate conversion. The finally phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate conversion. This 3 conversion is not at all going to reverse in glycolysis cycle. In gluconeogenesis process, that pathway must be come across these 3 obstacles. So what is going to happen exactly means, in gluconeogenesis process, these 3 irreversible steps has been bypassed by in some alternative pathway. From that it's going to the end product as a glucose. You can see this picture. This is clearly indicate the differentiate the glycolysis cycle and gluconeogenesis cycle. So glycolysis cycles is denoted as a red color, gluconeogenesis cycle is denoted as a blue color. The glycolysis cycles is going to top to bottom, then gluconeogenesis process is going to bottom to top. You can see here the last step from bottom to top. The pyruvate, it must be converted into phosphoenol pyruvate, but it's an irreversible step in glycolysis. So what this steps has been bypassed means, so what's happened exactly means, it's converted into the pyruvate, it's converted into the intermediate product is called as oxaloacetate. That it has been converted into phosphoenol pyruvate. From the same manner, what are the intermediate steps has been irreversible mechanism. That mechanism has been bypassed with some alternatives pathway. So you can see here, this picture has been giving clear idea about the gluconeogenesis process. So now you know the ideas. The pyruvate is the first product in gluconeogenesis. It must be converted into the glucose. That's a last product. So you can see here, I already say that the pyruvate can't able to convert into phosphoenol pyruvate because it's a irreversible step. So what our body is going to do that, it's going to bypass the mechanisms. So you can see this picture. So in hepatocytes, the pyruvate it's enter into the mitochondria. It's going to start another one intermediate cycle. So in that cycle, the pyruvate is going to synthesize the oxaloacetate. What is scenario here? The oxaloacetate can't able to cross the mitochondrial membrane. So how it's going to overcome that? The oxaloacetate it's converted into the malate. So now the malate it's easily cross the mitochondrial membrane. So it's crossed the mitochondrial membrane. It comes into the cytosolic region. In cytosolic region, the malate it's easily convert into oxaloacetate. So this is now the material is ready for the convert into phosphoenol pyruvate. The oxaloacetate it's converted into the phosphoenol pyruvate. Okay. So now the even pyruvate or lactate it's easily converted into the next step phosphoenol pyruvate. Now the phosphoenol pyruvate is ready. Then it's enter into the exactly reversal of glycolysis cycle. The phosphoenol pyruvate it's converted into the 2-phosphoglycerate. Then it's converted into the 3-phosphoglycerate and 1,3-biphosphoglycerate. After that, it's converted into the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. This is a last step for second phase. So in this phase, the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate it's converted into the fructose 1,6-phosphate. So here another one problem is there. The fructose 1,6-phosphate to fructose 6-phosphate conversion is very tough. Actually, the conversion of fructose 1,6-phosphate to fructose 6-phosphate is irreversible reaction in glycolysis. So in gluconeogenesis, the fructose 1,6-phosphate has been dephosphorylated with phosphatase enzyme. Fructose 1,6-phosphatase enzyme is going to dephosphorylate the 1-phosphate group. Then it's converted into the fructose 6-phosphate. So the second problem also is going to resolve. Then fructose 1,6-phosphate to glucose 6-phosphate conversion is going to happen. Then next another one problem is there because the same thing glucose 6-phosphate it's not convert into the glucose in glycolysis process. So here also we must come across that problem. So here also the same things happen. Glucose 6-phosphatase enzyme, that enzyme is responsible for conversion of glucose 6-phosphate to glucose. That means it's going to dephosphorylate the 1-phosphate group. So easily it's converted into the glucose 6-phosphate to glucose. So that is overview about the gluconeogenesis process. I hope you can understand some basic things about the gluconeogenesis process. If you have any comments, feel free to write in comment section.